So, hello, good morning. I see people are connecting. Very good. Still waiting a couple of minutes to have all the participants online. In the meantime, I'm just checking the participants. So, let's wait just a couple of minutes before starting. Okay, so perfect. I think that more or less we are all here. So before starting, I will give you a very brief introduction. So we are all aligned. So first thing, thanks for your time. To be on the same side. So this is the first of two webinars we are doing. The first one is today, the next one is in 1 week. So today we will approach, as said in the emails and in the instructions, the link canvas as a page for the pitch. And in the second, next week, we will deep dive more into how to pitch. Before again starting, a few logistics details. So as I said into the emails, please be aware that the pitch, the physical event, will be next 26th of March in Brussels. It will be at Atelier de Tanneurs, that you will see. It's a nice location. It's located in the historical part, central Brussels. It's more or less 15 minutes by walk from Brussels Central. You can check it on Google Maps. The event is taking place within a wider conference, that is the InnoCompass conference. You are, of course, welcome to join the conference for free. This is a separate inscription. You have to go on the website to inscribe for this. Anyhow, during the morning, with the people flying to Brussels, we will do rehearsals. So to check everything before the event, I will communicate everything to you. Apart from this, I really remember you that the event will be quite serious. The pitch event will be in the afternoon. So check the timing, check your flights, check your trains. The pitch will start around 16:30, 5 in the afternoon. We will finish, let's say, at 6:30, plus there will be a cocktails. We have 5 investors coming from different countries, plus crowdfunding platforms, plus business innovation centers. This is a serious opportunity, so please be aware, do your homeworks. What I will ask you after this session, we will send you the slides, we will send you the registrations. Just please prepare a link canvas to send to us, and after the next week, after the second webinar, prepare the slide deck so we can revise. Anyhow, I will keep you posted via email. So for whatever problem, whatever like logistic details, just stay in contact with us. So I think that at the moment we are all online. I see the people. I see that everything is fine, so we can start. Today it's me, Dario Mazzella, and my colleague Andrea Di Anselmo that we are online for, let's say, driving you into the link canvas. So if Andrea, I see Andrea also is connected, I leave the floor to him to start, and let's deep dive into how to use the link canvas for R&D project as a base for the pitch. Andrea, can you start?
Yes. Good morning for everybody, and welcome to this webinar. I will guide you through the use of the link canvas as a base for preparing a pitch. We have been working a lot with entrepreneurs and even more with researchers in order to help them to prepare a successful pitch. We found out that in order to be able to communicate what needs to be communicated, is very, very important that we stop and asking ourselves some questions. And we found out that the link canvas is a very powerful tool that helps us in doing this. So, first of all, pitch. Next, Dario, please. What the pitch is. The pitch is being able to convince somebody that what we present is very interesting for them, and doing this having a little time available. Little time that may go from, let's say, 30 seconds to a few minutes, 3 minutes. Next. Dario, please. What is very, very important to understand is that the main objective of the pitch is attracting interest. It's like the executive summary. I mean, we come from the scientific world. We are used to write down executive summaries. The executive summary, again, doesn't explain that much. It's there to attract the interest, to drive the interest of the reader to our paper. And the same the elevator pitch. We need to attract the interest of the people, and we need to convince them to talk to us later on. We need to convince them to devote to us more time. Next. So for us, it's very, very important that we impact with our pitch, with our presentation. And the only way to impact is saying the right things. And what happens is that the right things that need to be said in most of the case are different from the things we are used to tell. We are very much into our solution, our technology. And this is what we are used to describe, and this is what we are used to highlight and present. When we do the pitch, we need to focus on another set of issues, mainly on problems and how we solve the problem. And this is where the link canvas comes in. Please, next. The link canvas comes in because in order to be successful with our presentation, and in order to get prepared in the right way, we can use the link canvas to focus on what needs to be said. Next. Why the link canvas? The link canvas was, let's say, invented by Ash Murya to help people in launching startups, to help people in investigate new ideas, to investigate market potentials of new ideas. This makes the link canvas extremely powerful also for us, for the researchers that need to understand the route to market or the use of their R&D results. And they have to do this looking at problems first. Next. So in order to build our presentation, And as you remember, to grasp the attention of the audience, we need to focus on problem and how to solve problem. The link canvas helps us to focus on 4 key questions. 4 key questions focusing on the customer. And when I say the customer, you have to think of the customer in between brackets. We are researchers. Sometimes our research results are far from the market, and we may pitch in order to get some funding, and not just because we have something to commercialize, but because we need to further proceed with the TRL level. But this doesn't mean that we don't have customers, having in mind that the customers are the ones who are supposed to give us the money to do the next steps. So the key questions are: who is the customer? What is the problem that the customer has? And this is really key. And how our customers, in brackets, solve the problem so far. And we will see that at the end of the day, this is our competition. And last but not the least, why we are much better than current solutions in solving that problem that our customer has. Only if we answer to these 4 questions, we are able to come up with a good description of our solution. We are able to come up with a good pitch. Next. So this is the canvas. And this is the tool that, as Dario said, we are all supposed to use to prepare ourselves to the next step. Dario will provide you all the instructions on how to get the online version of the canvas. It's downloadable from the web. But what is extremely important for the canvas is that it has to be looked at and filled in a very specific order. And I'll tell you, because I did it several times, but I also did it the first time. And as many, I would say, as most or as all of us, I started to fill in the canvas from the solution. This is something we need to avoid. If our hands with the pen or the pencil goes towards the solution, we need to have a friend cutting the hand to avoid us to look at the solution first. The link canvas, in order to help us with the pitch, or more in general, in order to work, needs to be addressed in a very specific order. And here you can see numbers that will guide you through. Next. Where to start? We need to start from customers and early adopters. Dario, can you just go back? Again, another? Yeah. If you see on the right of the canvas, we have customer segments. Within customer segments, we have target customers, but within the target customers, there is a subcategory called early adopters. Go ahead. Back to the, okay. Early adopters are the ones that we suppose are the customers, in bracket, we are going to contact first. Why they are important? There is only one reason for a project to stop. And when I say a project, I mean one research project or a startup or a company. The only reason why all these projects in bracket ends, die, stop is because they run out of cash. If you think at our European projects, once the contract is finished, most probably we go and jump to another one, mainly because that specific grant is finished. And in order to avoid this problem of running out of cash, we need to be able to go from what you see here, innovators, which is usually where we are when we work at a research project together with our partners, and bridge this stage with the early majority, which are the level of customers that allows our project to get enough cash to keep living. And in order to do this, we need to target the early adopters, the ones who will be the first outside the partnership to believe in us. And they are going to be the first that will provide us with the first contracts. Understanding them is going to be key. And they are also supposed to be the ones who feel problems stronger than the others. And this is the key point, because the next element are problems. Just move. Why? Because solving problems is building our client base, is approaching the level of customers we need. It's bridging the gap. What we learned is that by definition, every customer has a problem and every problem has a solution. We coming from the research world, usually we start with a solution. But unfortunately, not every solution has a problem, and not every problem has a customer. This is why the lean canvas is important, because the lean canvas, again, allows us to focus on customers and problems, because if our solution is much better than current ones, competition, then we have a chance to go ahead. Then we have a chance to grasp the attention of an audience when we do our pitch. Next. So, customers, early adopters, identification of problems, most important problems, which are the ones felt by the early adopters, and then checking with the early adopters what are the alternatives. Alternatives are current solutions. If you have a problem, for sure you are trying to solve it. It's not said that the way you are solving it is the best possible way. But in order to grasp the attention of the audience, we need to demonstrate, we need to show that the way we are solving the problem is much better than the actual and current solution. It's much better than the current alternatives. And in order to be able to demonstrate this, we need to show that we know what the alternatives are. And this is very, very important. Happened to us when reading Canvas, or happened to us when talking to researchers, or happened to us when attending pitches. The presenter at the question, what about the competition? Because competition is always left behind in the presentation. They say, oh, you know, guys, this is such a new solution that there is no competition. Unfortunately, 99.99% of the situation, this is never the case. There will be always somebody in the audience that says, you know, guys, happened to me to come across a similar thing. If this happens, opportunities to grab the attention of the audience, opportunities to convince them to give you time to better explain, will evaporate in few seconds. So it's very, very important that we know what the alternatives are, because 99% of the cases there will be alternatives, and we are able to demonstrate why we are much better than them. And this brings us to the next slide. The unique value proposition. A very simple but extremely clear message, based as much as possible on data, based as much as possible on benchmark, that show why we are different, meaning we different, why we are much better than the current alternatives. Next. And this slide provides you a sort of graphic that show the importance of the unique value proposition and what the unique value proposition is. The unique value proposition is something that brings together what the client need, current alternatives, current solutions, competition, and our proposition. And what we need to avoid is what is called the point of parity, which at the end of the day highlights that what we propose to solve our client needs is exactly what our competitor propose. We need to focus on the point of difference that makes us much better than the competitors in solving client needs. So this is why it's very, very important not just to imitate the competitors. Happened to us several times to see on the unique value proposition the fact that we may be cheaper, less expensive. This is never a good point of difference. We need to come up with something which is relevant to the client needs and then helps us to build our value. Next. And we need to demonstrate that we are much, much better. And if we can avoid to say much, much cheaper, even better. And to be a good unique value proposition, it has to be simple, but as we said, based on facts and data. And here you see a very, very simple example that let us understand what we mean with based on facts and data. Imagine that we have a solution, whatever the solution is. Could be a new business, could be a new technology, whatever, that helps us to fix telephones. We can say we can fix the telephone fast, but fast or faster than the others doesn't bring any value. It's not something that we can compare. It's not something that we can appreciate. So a different story will be being able to say in our unique value proposition that we fix our phone, for example, in less than 1 hour. Then we give something to compare. We give the audience something that allows them to benchmark us against their experience and knowledge of the market. And this is very important. But we can even add value, for example, say less than 1 hour. So giving the people the possibility to benchmark on time and understand what fast means. But we can even add the information, for example, wherever you are. So this gives the audience the capability to understand that whatever our solution will be, it differentiates from current solutions by the fact that it takes less than 1 hour, and by the fact that it's not place-based, it's not limited to a specific place. If this is important, they will understand right away, and we will be able to grab their attention. What is very, very important, and this is a suggestion which comes from the deep of my heart, is that whatever we write down on the unique value proposition, it needs to be based on data and facts, which are built on evidences, result of our testing, result of our investigation with potential customers, and not based on our opinions. We need to be able to defend whatever is written down in the value proposition when pitching and when answering to questions, or when meeting later on, and when we will be asked to provide the data that will back our unique value proposition. Next. Only after we were able to identify the unique value proposition, we can describe our solution, which means how the unique value proposition is delivered to clients. And when we describe our technology, when we describe our solution, when we describe our device, when we describe our service, we need to focus on the features who are connected to the unique value proposition. So if we say that, for example, part of the unique data proposition is the, for example, accessing data on time, in this solution, we need to focus on whatever technical solution we invented or innovated in order to make data available real time. Next. Happened to us to see that in the description of the unique value proposition, we read the solution, or in the description of the solution, we read the unique value proposition. There are two different things. Unique value proposition is how we differentiate from competition, from current solutions. Solution is how we deliver the unique value proposition to the customers. And what is really, really important, whatever we write down, it has to be based on fact, data, proven by our tests, proven by interaction customers, not just based on our assumptions, or even worse, just made nicer because we want to make an impact. This is something where we really should avoid to lie. We need to tell the truth. Next. Next, please. So once we have described the solution, here is suggested to go to channels, which means how we reach out customers, how we connect to them, how we reach out even better the early adopters. Are we going to connect to them because we attend events, because we attend trade fairs, because we go and visit them, because we will have online marketing campaigns, whatever. And having said that, it's also important to link this, let's say, reaching out activity to metrics, to indicators that we are going to use in order to understand if what we are doing is in line with what we planned. If we are reaching the early adopters we are supposed to reach, if we are getting less of them, it is very, very important. And this is also very good for the pitch, because at the pitch, there will be a moment where we need to state and present state of the art. In order to present state of the art, sometimes it's very good to say, oh, guys, we have this number of leads, or we have this number of contracts, or whatever. And we only say, we are only in the position of saying this if we were able to keep track, measure, and analyze. Suggestion. Here you see that there is another field, number 7, unfair advantage. Unfair advantage is the list of motivations why our solution cannot be easily copied. The typical example of an unfair advantage is a patent or is a secret. Unfair advantage, this is just a matter of taste, can also be addressed right after solutions before going to channels, because it's something close related to solution, but this is not crucial. What is crucial is the relationship in between customers, problems, early adopters, current alternatives, unique value proposition, and solution. 1, 2, and 3 need to be self-consistent and linked one to the other. Next. And we are approaching to the end, so to the time of questions, and then maybe Dario would like also to add something. This shows you why the link canvas is important and is fundamental as a base of your pitch. You will see later on the next webinar what is going to be the pitch structure, but we already understood that we need to grasp the attention of the audience, whatever the audience would be. And again, to grasp the attention of the audience, we need to start from the problems. And once we filled in the link canvas, we filled in a way that is self-consistent, you can see that starting from the problems, you can easily go to the customers, to the early adopters, to the unique value proposition, to the solution, to the current alternatives, to the revenue streams, to the channels, to the key metrics. And these are all the ingredients for a pitch. May be named in a different way, because customer segments usually is called market. Early adopters and unfair advantage are linked to the state of the art. Alternative solutions are linked to the competition. Revenue streams are linked with financials and business models. But if we build the message based on the canvas, and if we have filled in the canvas following the right order, validating whatever we write down, if possible, with early adopters or outside the lab, at least with SMEs within the project, with the industrial partners, with the commercial partners, with the market partners, then we will have a very good base to prepare the pitch and to come up with a compelling message that, at least in terms of content, matches the objective of grasping the attention of the audience. And we will see later on, you will see on the next webinars, there's not just an issue of content and message, but the content and the message needs to be consistent, and the link canvas is a very good base for this. I wouldn't say more on the link canvas and how to use the link canvas for preparing the pitch. I don't know if Dario wants to add something, or if there are questions from your side.
Yes, Andrea, thank you. Thanks a lot for everything and for all the explanation. So I want just to recap what participants have to do. So as you have seen, Andrea today showed you why the pitch is important and how you can fill the pitch. As said before, at the end of this webinar, you will receive both the registration of the webinar and the slides, so you can prepare. And I will send you also over a template for the pitch. So what I'm asking you, to all of you, is to fill in your link canvas and to send it us. So we need to see, as we don't know all of you directly, with some of you, yes, but with all of you not, we need to see how you can, let's say, come up with a nice set of problems to solve, and who is, let's say, the beneficiary of this action. We really need to have this. So please send me this. We will review it and do everything before next webinar, so next Thursday, because then we will have to move on with the second thing, that is crafting the slides. As you can see at the end of this presentation, there is a nice recap. Okay, so first thing, you have seen the blocks that Andrea presented. Remember that there are blocks that are related to risks related to the product, risks related to the customer, and risks related to the market. This is why the link canvas is so useful, because it helps you to understand where are the risks and what are the risks, and you need to be consistent. Okay, as you can see here, there is also a very easy for dummies guide step by step, starting, as Andrea said, from the problem and the customers and the early adopters. And please, not only be consistent with the problem and the customer, but try to funnel as much as possible to identify a very strict segment to be considered the early adopters, and be also consistent when highlighting existing alternatives. We are not only speaking about technological alternatives. Any kind of alternatives that solve the same problem for you is an alternative, even not solving the problem. So try to state what are all the competitors, indirect and direct one, technological and not technological. Then you see all the other steps, as Andrea explained to you. Put a lot of efforts on defining a unique value proposition, because this is the milestone from which you will start in defining your pitch. And then the solution, the channels, the revenue streams, and so on, and also the metrics. You see, everything is here, as Andrea explained. These slides will really help you to fill in the pitch, the canvas. If you may have any kind of problem, just drop me an email. Okay, so I really please you to send us all the canvas, and in case there is some problem, I can understand this is the first time for the most of you. Just drop me an email and we will try to set up a one-to-one Skype with the ones of you that need it to discuss the thing. Do this because, as said, it's the first step for drafting the pitch. Okay, this is everything. We have still a couple of minutes left. So if you want to raise your hands, to type down some questions, here we are to answer. Okay, if not, if everything is fine, we will just stop here. Just to recap, please be aware of the dates on your calendar. Okay, so send us by next week your link canvas. Next Thursday, same time, there will be the second webinar. This time we will deep dive more into how to physically do a nice presentation, a nice slide deck for your pitch. Then you will have also to send us in advance, before the event in March, your slide deck in order to revise it. As said, in all the cases, this week or next week, if you may have some problem, just contact us, drop me an email, and we will set up a one-to-one conference call. 26th March is the day of the pitch. Investors, crowdfunding platform, business innovation centers, and so on. The pitch is late afternoon, so please be aware, book your flights and your overnight stay accordingly. During the morning, we will organize also an in-person rehearsals to check everything, to check slides, to check images, to check projection, and to make some last-minute trials. Okay, I see that Tommaso has a question. So, Tommaso, please make your question. I don't know if you can directly speak or you can just type in your question. And so I can answer to the question if you type it in. As said, while Tommaso is preparing the question, again, for any kind of doubt, just drop an email. I remember you that on the 26th, it will be a very big opportunity for all of you. And remember one thing, we will invite mainly business people. There will be also some people from the commission to check, but this will be mainly be a business opportunity for you to drive your market your research to the market. So no worries, be consistent, and more than everything, remember that you don't have in any kind of presentation to compulsorily refer to your European project. You don't have to use European project jargon. No need for European logos, flags, and so on. This is a concrete opportunity. So use the logos that you want, your company, your project, but please remember that this is a real business opportunity. So don't need to be so administrative. Just go with the flow. So in the meantime, let's see if Tommaso can make his question or can type in. I'm still waiting for this.
I actually typed in, so can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, I probably missed this point, if the material, the slides will be made available.
Tommaso, sorry, I'm sure I didn't catch it. Can you repeat it, please?
Yes, I wanted to ask if the material, the slides, will be made available. I probably missed this point.
Yes, yes, yes. Of course, you will receive the slides.
Okay.
You will receive a template.
Okay, great.
You will receive
Thank you very much.
templates and everything. Okay,
Thanks.
perfect. So good. Any other question? We have still time.
Dario, nice to hear you again. This is Laura from
Yes.
Zavala. I wanted to ask how long has to be the pitch in minutes?
So yes, so you will receive all the info. For the moment, I think that we are going for a 4-minute speech,
Okay.
but no worries. You will receive all the info written, so you will have all the info, and you will have also the template and everything. Anyhow, we will speak more in detail about this next week, because next week is dedicated to the beach. But just to let you be ready, it's just 4 minutes. So you need really to come up with a nice message, a compelling one, and straight to the point.
Nice, thanks.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions? So far, so good. I don't see any other question. I don't see other hands raising.
Victor has another
So
question.
it's
Dario? Victor
yes,
has another
yes, go.
question.
Yes.
He's asking, what is the TRL expected by
Please.
the investors?
Sorry, say it again.
He's asking, what is the TRL expected by the investors?
Sure. So all investors are investors that are, of course, aware about, let's say, the specificities of future emerging technologies. So they have a particular interest, of course, in the technology that you are developing. So they know that they cannot expect an higher TRL. I mean, you are not the same level than a startup, of course. Still, they need to see a clear business proposition. I mean, seeing how your technology can be applied. So they are perfectly, I mean, into the world of future emerging technologies. So don't worry too much about this. Of course, the higher TRL you can present, the better it is. But the most important thing is presenting how your technology can be used for a concrete business proposition. So they know that the most of you are coming from research organization. They know that the most of you still have to spin off. So no worries about this. They are really into seeing what you can offer. I mean, they perfectly know about everything. But as said, of course, the higher TRL, the higher stage, if you are an SME, if you already spin off, of course, it's better. But don't put too much, let's say, thoughts about this, because they are perfectly aware about what are future emerging technologies.
And Dario, if I may add something, what is important for a pitch and what investors are looking at is the capability of the team to deliver. Since they are all aware that these are future emerging technologies, they are disruptive technology that in some case may be far from the market, they need to understand how the team is capable to deliver and maintain what they promise. This is why it's extremely important when you prepare the pitch, and this is again linked to the canvas, have everything based on data, comparable information, and show state of the art. Make extremely clear what the team was able to achieve so far, because this is what the investors can appreciate because in order to mitigate risks, they need to rely on the team. Description of the team, state of the art, and a presentation which is based on fact and data is what at the end of the day makes the difference, not the TRL level.
Aurélie has another question. Aurélie, would you like to pose your question?
Yes, please, go on.
Regarding the key metrics during the pitch, it's like normally you can establish key metrics for the different parts of the sections, which would be like how you reach your channels, how you meet your revenue goals, like based on data, how the value proposition is different than existing products. But during the pitch, is it recommendable to focus on one of these sections, or how is it recommended to choose the key metrics, like how to focus, like regarding the time?
So let's say that you have, go Andrea, go.
Okay, I'll go. It's a matter of providing in a short time all the information that investors need. I can tell you what the most common mistakes are. Usually, for example, presenters, they speak a lot about the solution and they forget to tell about competition, about the team, about the unique value proposition. Another part which is often forgotten is connected to the revenue streams and the cost structure, or even worse, is forgetting to come up with what is called a request for action. To forget to say at the end, because you run out of time, what you really need from the audience. Again, what is very important, and you will see in the material you will receive later on, it's very, very important to cover all the aspects that need to be covered, which means that, I mean, 4 minutes, it's already a lot. So it's not an issue of timing. When you go down to 1.5 minutes, then you need to pay attention to provide a very good and balanced presentation, avoiding to devote too much time on the solution, and avoiding to present the team as a partnership, but just to focus on key people. When I say partnership, I mean presenting the team as the European project partnership. We are a partnership composed of university of blah, 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 the research center of blah, 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 A, B, C, D. This is not what it's relevant. What is relevant is who the key people behind the team are, what their relevant experience in delivering is.
And also remember that to finally answer is that you have to impress the audience. You have just 4 minutes, so you cannot go to all the points, as you said. You just have to impress the audience. So pick the single numbers that makes people saying, wow. Pick the single thing that is most important. Go straight to the point. Don't waste time with technical details, and just really try to communicate the core thing. Okay, so if you have metrics that really are impressive, saying something about the time you can save in some process, the money you can save, or the effects that you can produce, show these big compelling numbers just to attract and to hook the people. And then after, when there will be question and answers, or when there will be the time to go down into, let's say, into the auditorium, you will have time to chat with people if they have been impressed by you.
Yeah, and
okay?
keep in mind that to show data takes seconds. And you will learn this on the other webinars. So it's a matter of practicing, but you will see that if you practice, you can deliver. What is important is to deliver the information the audience need to know in order to be impressed, rather than what you would like to tell to please them.
Tommaso, you've raised your hand. Do you have another question? Tommaso, do you have another question?
No, no questions from my side.
Okay, thank you. And Aurélie, you raised your hand. Would you like to ask another question?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, perfect. So if this is everything, I think we are running out of time. So thank you for your attention. I think it's time to close. As said, we will send you everything via email, templates, slides, recordings, information, whatever doubt, just drop an email, and if there is the need, we are happy to run one-to-one Skype with you to fine-tune the details. Okay, so this is a goodbye. Thanks a lot. Thanks to Valerie for organizing. Thanks also Andrea for speaking. Thanks all of you for staying online, and talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.